Thank you so much for everybody for your patience throughout the day. When we talk about patience, there are two keys to patience that are important. And through that patience, we learn through academia. Through academia, we learn to know that our warrior will guide our patience with our academia to serve with peace. I'm going to round up and go back on today with all the incredible His Highness, ambassadors, everybody that's been here, when we talk about peace. For me, it was a great honour, to invite me here. But I'm going to tell you why we're here. So we're here for the Centre for Cultural Diplomacy Studies. What we will take away with us today, we stand as the voice for the voiceless. And Sheikh, that's coming on there. The voice for the voiceless, whether you're a diplomat, whoever you are, the person, for somebody that can't speak. We have to stand united. Because, quite simply, Mark, you've rounded up the whole thing in here. Trust children for the future to change direction and serve with peace. Peace. To eliminate the power, the ego, and the ego, okay? The arrogance, the cultural discrimination. Let's eliminate and use peace for what the gentleman was saying before her about peace, what we're doing there. As the media coordinator for the Intelligence Agency and Investigation Department, for missing persons, both in the UK and international, is a very demanding role. And in that role, we have now incorporated through an incredible lady called Dr. Caroline Purvey, and my agent to the side here is also a director of that. Because what we have to do is understand that we have to implement to gain and recover from trauma. I will be in the United Nations next month and the summit as one of their ambassadors, to show the voice that it counts. There has to be change. We have to change direction. We have to trust the children. My objective between that role in the agency is to bring more awareness through media attention, not only through my own voice, but through the Central Investigation Agency. And what is our ethos behind that? To stop threats before they happen and to further the UK's national security objectives. We gather foreign intelligence to produce objective analysis and conduct undercover actions as required by the State Legal Department. At the Central Investigation Agency, we neither embark nor cite any policy recommendations. Instead, our agency serves as an independent source of information for people who do. We are not a law enforcement agency, organisation, however, we work within the intelligence community, the Department of Investigation, the law enforcement agencies on many complex issues, ranging from counterintelligence to counter-terrorism, to meet with intelligence. How can we use cultural diplomacy in our fight against human trafficking? In an idyllic world, eliminating the onslaught of trauma, would that affect those individuals? We must observe all nations using culture to advance their interests, or coming up against international foreign policies and diplomatic issues because of cultural products. Examples are abundant. Whether it's in France's extensive network for the Alliance Française, you can say it better than me. Unfortunately, I do suffer with a slight bit of dyslexia. So in my foreign language, I find that difficult. But these cultural centres are now nearly 1,000 around the world. Or the increasing censorship in Hong Kong for the artistic exports from abroad. Cultural, diplomatic issues are common and often high stakes, both diplomatically and economically. How can we create a bridge for all intelligence agencies to work on one data programme, enabling a faster and safer way to profile criminology behind the mindset of an abductor? This must be done on a worldwide scale. We need to implement this to help combat the widespread contemporary exploitation of men, women and children, to which most of us see this as an unacceptable form of behaviour. And anybody that holds an academic or neither but a conscious mind, no matter what country we reside in, it's wrong. We all need our agencies to work together across the world, more than ever now. With war, we've heard from ambassadors and everything that there is no winners in war. We need to learn about peace. We need to go back history. Look at the leaders before. What have we learnt when we're saluting our soldiers, etc. Before that? There are no winners in war. The traditional approaches to preventing trafficking in human beings is simply not enough. In our country's role to protect against assisted trafficking persons and bring those criminals to justice. How can we implement a better system? How can we create a more efficient data programme that helps that individual, vulnerable person, or a person who has been subjected to brutal humiliation of a sexual exploitation? The missing child. Have you found her? The cry from the parents, the mothers. And when you find them, is she alive? Are they breathing? Did you catch him? The trauma, the onset of that trauma is as well the same for an adult, whether you're a child, whatever, trauma. But it's inflicted on families, which leaves us devastation, which is trauma is seen as acute, chronic or complex, and we have to deal with that. By dealing with that, we have to release, recover and discover. This programme should be implemented in every workforce, every school, for everybody, because that trauma is filling us up and overloading our buckets. We take that trauma. But when you learn, when I've been looking for that missing person, I go home and I'm trying to sleep. I can't turn off my brain. It's going over and over. Did I do enough? Did I go there quick enough? Did my agencies get there? If we had all that agency together, people may have heard of Ancestry Tree. If that data, which we have now started piloting when I was in The Hague just before Christmas, using one that's been piloted with Manchester Police, because with that data, if that abductor is in it and is known to social services, to border force, to whatever, if it was just fed through, it would highlight like a huge light and we would be able to get there quicker. But do we think of what happens to somebody's mindset when you're faced with trauma, when we can't get there? Or if we do, there's still trauma that we have to look at and release, recover and discover a new way to work together and bring peace, to stop and work together in the unified hand. Freedom almost always brings a sense of elation and relief. However, adjusting back to a real world after being held hostage from the situation that your mind's now being trapped in trauma. Many hostage survivors are faced with transitioning from a condition of isolation and helplessness to a sensory overload and freedom. The transition often results in a significant adjustment. For me, to abbreviate this down, what I'm asking the world as I stand here as a humanitarian, I believe as a human being, everybody that's in this room and anybody that's listening, we need more investment in our cultural diplomatic approach, one in which requires to invest in the bridges we have already created. We must repair those bridges already in place, not making them obsolete, allowing us to also make new ones for global peace. When creating that bridge, we must ensure that we have cemented into the foundations of that bridge the strength of cultural diplomacy, respect, recognition for cultural diversity, and the heritage must be the only material that will ever be used in the development process of building that bridge. We must not use illegal speech, incite violence or hatred. We must not educate not only ourselves, but we must educate the whole world on how inciting violence and hate affects in a cultural diplomacy world. The rewards is the unification of the invisible hand. So I'll ask you all here, for many cultures, just to lift out your hands and hold the person next to you.
Sorry.
Sorry, yeah. Now I want you to inhale and then go, release, and do that again with a thought to say, I believe in cultural diplomacy. I believe in the welfare of another human being. The fuel of that breath that empowers our brain until our brain shuts us off is the empowerment. So you take that breath in. You will recover, and then you will discover through this wonderful cultural diplomacy and the studies for our children for the future growing there. Strengthen your own hands now. Encourage with determination to also invest more in artificial intelligence and the metaverse by the creation of a formula that is made with the correct intelligence. Crucial elements that hold the essence of cultural diplomacy in releasing its fundamentals in how that formula can be served in its correct purpose and intention. We must offer the human race a compact and safe place from trauma, also a clear mindset in equality, diversity, respect for humanity by showing a voice of diplomacy to all countries in the world. Due to the multifaceted nature of human trafficking and its close connections with other transnational issues, no country can ever combat this threat alone. We must implement the importance trauma has on our mindsets. We must look at that trauma that is left on our army soldiers, our police forces, our healthcare, our citizens. We must teach and support that human being with the knowledge of how to release, recover, and discover a world free from trauma, replaced with a world only of peace. To ensure a cultural diplomatic hand to be part of a positive support held out today, we must unify with one key when we leave this building. In that key is to let go, we've unlocked, and we work together. We respect each other in here. We respect everybody's voice. We all stand for kindness and hope and have faith until there is no unreasonable doubt. As we leave here, many of us will be going on to restaurants, but what I want you to take away from me today, in my intelligence and what I'm doing, is let's discover a new dance, a cultural dance of beauty of love, respect, humanity and peace. So everybody will learn to dance that dance together, only using notes to correct a cultural diplomatic song. Thank you very much. Okay.
We shall get 2 or 3, thank you. 2 or 3 questions, if you take
Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
Yes,
Some of them I may not be able to answer due
yes,
to
no problem.
intelligence.
Couldn't answer. There is the short and sharp question, and of course, you, as Dr. Kendal said, you may not get the answer. Who is next? Any question? Any question? Question 1? Question 2? Yes?
No, I think we've covered it.
Yes,
Have we?
question 4. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Do you
Yes,
want to step
thank you
forward?
for your wonderful presentation, Madam, and I understand the sensitivities around intelligence, but I'll actually throw the question on the intelligence of the
Yes,
world, not
of course.
personally on your organization, as to how far and where are we in terms of international intelligence cooperation within the context of cultural intelligence, because of the very fact that intelligence is a culture around the world, whereby we all thrive on intelligence. So,
Well,
in terms of securing human
Security,
security,
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. How far are we in
I
terms of
have to be
integration?
very careful
Thank you.
on to this subject.
Yeah.
But when we speak and how far are we going, how
Yes.
can we get tighter to in that security, is by all of us showing awareness in how we speak. How we use 26 letters of the alphabet, that we form words without words. We just saw what happened in the UK with wrong words being spoken that incited violence, inappropriate, illegal speech. In our security, it's ongoing all the time. As we were saying, there's new things when I was in The Hague, was new data to trying to get everybody to work together to go in there. But we can go better than that, because we're all here. We're all individuals. We're all human. Treat another human being how you wish to be treated yourself. But no matter what colour, race, religion, is the unifying of that hand, is the strength, the best form of security to break down anybody that's trying to hurt you. Have peace. Have respect. Because at the end of the day, you have to respect yourself first to respect others. Nobody teaches a child to become a murderer. A child, when it's born, comes through a traumatic birth canal. When it comes through trauma and it's held in the mother's arms with the father looking over it, you're giving the security to that to teach them. So for me, I am very tied on what I can speak under national security, but my voice is, we can make the change. We can stand together and unify as cultural diversity for our future, for our children, and let's invest in each other.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much, Lady Jaggar. I obviously, we have spoken. I deal with a lot of immigration issues, and human trafficking is quite an issue, topical issue nowadays. I'm trying to see how we can work together in terms of leveraging your organization and also helping the victims of human trafficking, because we have got quite a lot of those. But one of the challenges that we're facing, especially with the Home Office, in terms of decision making, some of these people are not believed that they've been trafficked and so on and so forth, and which is causing quite a lot of problems. So I want to see whether your organization is in a capacity for us to approach you in terms of if we do have cases of that nature, and also if you do have a whistleblowing policy that we can also contact you if we have such cases. Thank you.
Well, yes, I can answer that with absolutely exceptional news on that. that we are working on opening an office, which will be coming up, to work with you, yourself with trafficking, so that anybody that has been trafficked needs advice, needs lawyers, needs having the agency, which my co-agent here is heading that when it opens shortly, to allow anyone a victim of rape, trafficking, hurt, pain, abuse, discrimination, you can come to that officer where Dr. Daniel Wood will do that, and we will look at the case and we'll find it. If you have a case of your child is missing and not found, it will come then, our directors at the agency will look at it. But we will give you hope. We will give you faith. We will unify that hand, because we won't be broken, because we support you, you support us. One voice, one education, one world policy, and overall peace. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent.